This is how I made my song Satellite off my latest album, Destroyer. I actually made most of this in the tour van driving through Arizona, which is why the file is titled Arizona. The image that I was looking at when we were driving was like Arizona, and the sun was like, I think, setting at that time, and it was just gleaming through the windshield, and it was beautiful. And if you could picture that in your head, that is exactly what I wanted this to sound like. Originally, you know, the intro you hear over here, this was one of the first things I started playing, was these like loopy synths. And then obviously when the song actually starts, we have this. So that is the main instrument of Satellite. It's actually this sample. It's slowed down a lot and cut to match. You can actually hear the original vocals that I had in the tour van, and I had plugged in my Apple iPod earphones. This is what they kind of sounded like. Got me in the water, back of the sun. Sounds like shit, obviously. I bounced that out, whatever I had, and I texted it to Harry, and he wrote the lyrics and then sent them back to me. So Harry actually wrote most of the song. And then when we finally got off of tour, I recorded the entire song. So the way I actually recorded these vocals, just for reference, is the song's at 140 BPM. I slowed it down to 120 BPM, recorded all the vocals, and then basically sped it up. You can sort of hear that it's sped up vocals. I'm knee deep in the water, flashes of summer. So in the first part, we got the guitar, we got the vocals, and then we got the bass coming in. Just a nice square synth that is from Spire here, which is probably my favorite synthesizer. And then we got some harmonies here. It's not too fancy. And then we hit the, I came, I saw, it rained. We have these ahs. This is really what carries the hook for me. And the way this was done was I recorded 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 ahs, and they're running through a Valhalla vintage reverb. The decay is about 10 seconds, which is what gives it this heavenly ass fucking. And then we have the synths I mentioned at the intro coming back in. We also have piano. Right now, it's still doing the same chord progression as the, verse. Obviously, it changes chords right when you hit, I fall from grace like a satellite. I fall from grace like a satellite. That was really the kind of turning point of the song, that chordal resolve. It really kind of adds a lot of character to this and doesn't just make it a song that relies on a bunch of reverb and is just kind of floating in the ether. It brings it back to earth a little bit. After this, we have this tabla sample and the main synth sample. Just chopped it kind of in half and repeated it at the end there. I mean, it's a pretty simple song. It's just picking these three instruments right here. It gives you the feeling that it's really full. Mind you, I will not let my genius in this one section go unnoticed. The ahs over here, they could have been just normal, but I sidechained them to kicks that are not in the song yet. So it gives them this feeling that, they're going in and out like. And then here comes the second verse. This is where the drums come in. Set this off to DLG. Shout out my dog. He did a great job on here. I think the second verse to me was always going to be like, okay, we have to elevate this. We have to change it. We can't just go back to the do-do-do-do-do-do-do. What I did was I did the drum pattern. I kind of wanted something Kanye-ish, super heavy, hard, large. So I got to have bass in there. I took whatever bass I had and arpeggiated it, so we get that extra note at the end. No, 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 no. That is just in this part. There's nowhere else in the song that you hear that. And all we need is DLG's vocals.
Open my decisions.
This was done much later. I got violin on this. Shout out my boy Saul. So if you hear DLG's vocals, you'll hear the
I've had money come and go, put the heat on cold. If I keep
I had him go over and do that. Just little, little things. And then we have so those are all Saul. And you can see how simple it is, right? Like there's really not much happening here, but it's the selection of certain choices, really loud and proud instruments that makes each section stand out. You don't need to have 7 million fucking things happening. In fact, in most of my songs, a lot of the stuff that is happening is with the vocals. That's the thing with pop music, is the vocals are kind of king. You have to let them be the center of attention, tell everything else to sort of sit down until an instrumental section, obviously, or a solo or whatever. So here comes the second hook. The bass is arpeggiated because we have drums. We have this extra synth. Loud. Then we have this synth from the intro coming back in, obviously. My lead vocals. We also have DLG's vocals here. He added a little more to the hook. Super beautiful. Wow, what a guy. And we added this weird rhythmic loop. I think it was to kind of act as a hi-hat along with the drum. Crash. Not really even a crash, just like a drop of water hitting a bathtub in like a dungeon. Nothing else really new here. We have, low harmonies of the hook. These are recorded really shittily. Everything serves the chorus. We go into this and then reverse transition into Nepo. As far as the intro goes, we have obviously the pads that I initially played. And then, the London Fog stuff. Piano from London Fog, like the bass from London Fog. But I'm doing a tempo curve up here. So it's starting from the tempo of London Fog. That's why that transition is so seamless. It's starting from 90 and going all the way up to 140. And in the back, you also hear this synth over here. That's just this, but like slowed in half. So that's all really that's happening. There's really there's a huge credit that has to be given to Harry for writing just like really penetrating, dreary, sorrowful, but yet hopeful lyrics to match the vibe of the song. So I appreciate y'all checking in, tapping in with me. I'm doing one of these for each song on the album, so please be on the lookout.